Hello, this is Curt Matthews.
Yes, sir. What's up?
How you doing, sir? It's Felix and Austin from Pipebomb Radio. Glad we got you on the air, bud.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. We're just going to go ahead and start off. I'll have Austin start off asking a couple of questions, and if you're okay with it, maybe take a couple of calls from fans if you're up for it.
And I'm down for whatever. I'm here till y'all kick me off.
Oh. All right, man. Go fire away, Austin.
Okay, well, professional wrestling, it's probably, I guess, has been a part of your life for a long while. But how did you get started into, falling in love with it?
How did I start in wrestling?
Yeah,
how did you
get into it?
Oh, how did I get into it? I mean, I've always watched it. I've always loved it. Man, when I was a kid, I just loved watching WCW with my dad every Monday night. That was our thing. That's where we bonded. Me and him never bonded in like baseball or football or anything because we were always on opposing teams. But when Monday night WCW was on, that was our time. It's something that I've always wanted to do. And it just so happened, 10 minutes down the road, there was this little wrestling joint that would train people. And, dude, it was probably the biggest hole-in-the-wall wrestling joint that you have ever seen. Literally, the ring was almost smaller than me. I started out there. I trained there. I'm not going to say that I learned a whole lot there, but I've made a few friends. My buddy Ron Horn, he kind of got me out of there, got me on the road a little bit, helped me learn a little bit about how wrestling worked, taught me a little bit, helped me improve a little bit, but I was still really green. Really wasn't where I should have been about a year in, He talked me into trying out for TNA whenever they came through, pretty sure it was Baton Rouge, actually. Because he wanted to do the gut check. One of my buddies, Barry Wolf, wanted to do a gut check. And they talked me into doing it with them. So we all coughed up the money to do it. We all got down there, and there were guys there that just blew my mind how great they were in the ring with their tryouts. Guys like Chase Stevens, who used to be in TNA. A guy named Shane Williams. Pretty sure he's the king of Knoxville. That's his gimmick. Mike Dell. And a few other guys that are big around kind of the Gulf Coast area and all over. And then after they had all been in there, it came time for me to get in there and just Steele Brown wanted to wring my neck because I hardly knew anything.
So was there any specific people that you admired, as wrestlers growing up?
Growing up, honestly, probably my favorite to watch was Sting because he was so energetic, so charismatic in the ring. He wasn't really, I don't want to say that he wasn't a good technical wrestler, but his character was what made me, I guess, like him so much,
So you were like a channel flipper between WWE and WCW during the Monday Night Wars, or were you just a WCW guy?
Honestly, we were channel flippers, but I was straight up WCW. I loved the characters that they had. I wasn't as big into the Attitude Era and everything. I could honestly care less about all that stuff when I was 5 or 6 years old. Well, 6 or 7, whatever years it was. My older brother and my cousins all wanted to watch WWF. I was a WCW guy. So we kind of had to argue over the remote over which one we were going to watch that night. And I was a little kid then, and so I lost that battle a whole lot.
So any person that I was going to say, When you started training, like any person that you're trying to mirror your moves after, like anybody you look after that you want to, form a style like they, you know what I'm talking about? You understand what I'm saying?
Who inspires me, like, in the ring? Like,
yeah.
Who I guess try to not really imitate, but try to get an idea of how it works. Really, I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. Like, now that I'm older and I've actually studied a lot of people, I like watching Rick Rude, Ric Flair. I love watching old Ric Flair matches. He knows how to work the crowd. Yeah, I can't do that. I'm not going to try, or else y'all probably cut me off. But yeah, Ric Flair, Rick Rude, Roddy Piper. I love some of his stuff. Actually, I watched a lot of Goldust stuff just because of the character and how interesting it was.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I like watching a lot of characters. Like, not always the best technical wrestlers, not always the best in-ring performers, but the guys that have the characters that draw you in, the guys that make you want to watch them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the Undertaker, or people like that. And Paul Bearer.
Yeah, growing up, I liked Undertaker. I was probably scared of him as a kid. But then, whenever we were watching WWF, Kane was my favorite. I don't know why, but he was my guy.
So you weren't scared of him?
What's that?
You weren't scared of him? You're scared of Undertaker?
You weren't scared of Kane?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kane was the guy I liked watching WWF. Like his match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, the First Blood match where he won the title.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I do. King of the Ring.
Yes. I couldn't remember the pay-per-view, but me and my cousins, we ordered that one. And that was the only match I cared about. And they were all saying they hope Kane loses. They want to see him set himself on fire. I'm like, no. He needs to win this.
That's what I was telling Felix WrestleMania 29. I kept on telling him CM Punk would win, but I was shot down.
You never bet against the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Come on now.
I would.
You can't bet against Undertaker at WrestleMania. If they've kept this streak going, what is he now? 21-0.
21-0.
No one else is ever going to do that.
Hey, I'm going to bet when John Cena sets up. I mean, I'm going to bet on.
Bite your tongue.
Okay.
Bite your tongue.
He is. Now, if John Cena and Undertaker go at it at WrestleMania, I'm going to be worried. I will say that.
No. That kid, Cena doesn't need that. He's already the company, the main man in the company. What does he need a victory over this? This is the Undertaker's legacy. I'm sorry, I have to beg you to differ on that. So.
No, I clearly agree. He doesn't need it, but that's one of the guys everyone's worried about. Him and Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar had it at WrestleMania, he doesn't need it either, and I don't think they would give it to him.
No.
But that would be one of those guys that would make people kind of wonder,
True. I mean, considering the fact that last time Brock and the Undertaker faced each other, Undertaker lost.
Right.
But
yeah, dude,
so that experience of the experience of working the gut check, was it really as good as they had made it sound? Was it really? I mean, obviously you had to pay to go in there and do it, but I mean, was it worth the opportunity just to be there? I've heard good and bad about the gut check.
It was to me it was an eye opener. To me, it was like, I don't know near as much as I should at this point. I shouldn't have been in that room with those guys at that point in my career. It was really an eye-opening experience for me, and I think that might be why Ron wanted me to do it so much, just to see how much more I needed to learn. But yeah, it was. We got to get in there. We had matches. We got to talk on the mic a little bit in the back. They were there watching. Jeff Jarrett was sitting out there watching. Theo Brown was in the ring with.
Did he?
Right. But yeah, it was a good experience. I think it was a great idea. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched TNA, and I don't really watch a whole lot of wrestling on TV right now, just because I'm always in the gym or something at that certain time. I like keep up with it, but I don't get the chance to watch it as much as I would like. But the gut check matches that they were doing, I caught a couple of them, and I think it was a good concept. It might need a little tweaking, but I think it was a good concept for like independent wrestlers to get some national TV exposure.
Now, considering the fact that they have released a lot of the gut check stars, people were starting to doubt its credibility. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why I was asking you, as far as from your experience. It seemed obviously legit and worthwhile for the independent stars. But for TNA to let them go so soon without even giving them a real actual shot, because they spent the majority of their time in OVW.
Yeah, I think the only one that's still on the roster right now, I could be wrong, is Jay Bradley. Is that correct?
I believe that's would you say that's correct, Austin? I don't watch TNA that much. I didn't see it actually.
Yeah, Jay Bradley is one of the only gut check people that are on the roster right now.
Right.
Well, I know that Lady Tapa is in OVW.
Oh yeah. Other than them.
Yeah, I think there's still a few in OVW maybe, but I know a lot of them got released. And the only thing that kind of shocks me is the one that got the most TV time out of all the gut check guys is the one that got voted out, Joey Ryan.
Yes, that was a shocker. That one, he was probably one of the guys that were more over than some of the guys actually on the main roster.
Look at Christian York.
What's that?
Look at Christian York. Christian York, he was awesome, and I was surprised when they released him.
Yeah, Christian York. I was surprised about him getting let go. But
and how long would you say you've actually been in the wrestling business? Would you say roughly about a couple of years, or?
I'm working on 4 years, but I like to just say that I've started really in the wrestling business when I started training with Wildcats about 1.5 to 2 years ago.
And ultimately, in about 10 years, where would you like to see yourself at this point? I mean, you're working towards a goal, obviously, to make it to the big time, whether it be with, it doesn't necessarily have to be with WWE, but anybody who's in wrestling, that's where they ultimately want to be. But if you don't make it there...
The WWE has always been the ultimate goal. That is where I want to be. That's where I've wanted to be since I was a kid. And hopefully with everything that I'm learning with Wildcats, I'll make it there. I'm hoping in the next couple of years, to be honest. But 10 years, I want to be there,
So talking about training at Wildcat, how was that? Training with Luke Hawk, one of the best.
Oh yeah, speaking of Luke Hawks, that's actually where I met him at the gut check.
Oh really?
That is where we met, and then just months later we had talked on Facebook a little bit, and he invited me out, and he's just helped me so much since I've joined the Wildcat. He tells it like it is. When I got in there, he said it looks like I hardly knew anything, and it was true. But he taught me so much to go in there, and I've improved so much. So that's another plus about the gut check. You never know who you're going to meet. The training with Wildcat is intense. I try to get down there at least once a week. I don't have the luxury of being there 3 days a week like some of the guys. I live in Mississippi. It's a 3-hour drive down here. I'm actually leaving Wildcats training right now. I just got back into Mississippi. But, man, it's a great experience. I've met some great people. Luke Hawks has helped me so much. I've met Wes Adams through Wildcat. He's coached me so much. It's just, it's crazy how much I've learned in the last 1.5 years through that. In the Gulf Coast.
Have you actually gotten the opportunity to travel outside of Mississippi as far as to one of the independent shows and like Texas or even Alabama or Florida or what have you? Have you traveled any further?
Before I was with Wildkat, I traveled with Ron Horn to Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
And getting a chance to work the independent shows, you more likely have had the chance to work with some of the legends in wrestling. Can you name some of the greats that you've gotten to work with, or
that I've gotten to work with so far?
I should say. Yeah.
I've been able to work with the Hurricane Shane Helms.
I bet he's awesome.
That was cool being in the ring with him. He was. I learned a lot from him just working with him. I don't know if I would count him as a legend or anything like that, but I got to manage Chris Masters a couple of shows ago at Wildkat, so he was a really cool guy.
Maybe not a legend, but very well known.
Right, yeah. But he's a really cool guy, and honestly, I think it was a shame that he was let go.
Agreed. Agreed.
Let's see, who else?
As far as the advice that you've ever had, what's some kind of advice that you've been given in wrestling that kind of is something that you still kind of use today that you hold near and dear to you about the wrestling business? Have you actually gotten any advice about maybe longevity in wrestling or your character or anything in particular about your wrestling repertoire that you were given advice on by anybody in particular? It doesn't necessarily have to be a wrestling legend.
One of the main things for longevity, you've got all these guys out there doing these crazy spot fest moves,
Yeah.
But they don't know how to work the crowd. They don't know how to just get the crowd involved to that where they're invested in a headlock or, a sleeper hold down the ground, chokehold. They want to do all these flips off the top rope, all these just crazy moves that in a real fight would you ever see actually working? They look cool. Don't get me wrong, and they work, But one of the main things that I'm trying to learn to do and is just really work with the crowd, get them interested in every little aspect that I'm doing.
Understood.
To where I never have to do these crazy moves that have the potential to just kill yourself, honestly.
Yeah, I see you work out by the crowd. You want to count that as working?
The last shows that you saw, let's see, those were in Houma and Dulac, Louisiana.
Yeah, this is bands.
Oh yeah. It's kind of funny. I was just in the back messing around with them. I was had Michael Jackson playing just on repeat in the back. And I was just working out with the bands back there to the beat of the music. At first, some of the guys thought it was funny, and then it just got really annoying because it was just continuous. And when it was just time for the match, I put it around my neck and walked out there with it. And it was just something I threw in there just to see if it worked. I like to see if new things work, see how the crowd reacts to it, see if I have fun doing it, But yeah, that just kind of came out of nowhere. That was the first time I did it, probably that night you saw it.
Wow. And speaking of others, your ring attire, Studamania, where did that come from?
Oh, Studamania.
Who came up with that?
That's actually kind of got a little backstory to where I made that gear too. Me and some of the guys at Wildkat are always trying to, just make new gear, and it's not just Wildkat. It's every legit independent wrestler wants to, keep making new gear, keep changing their look up some. And honestly, I was talking to a few people about what my next design should be, and this was right around the time where Hulk Hogan was getting a lot of stuff about his sex tape that was leaked. And to be honest, I just thought, hey, what if I make a Hulk Hogan related gear while this is kind of floating around the internet while people are talking about this. I mean, honestly, at first it was just something that I wanted to do, just kind of to be fun, to be funny. And also, have you seen any of the Power Slam stuff, Power Slam wrestling in Mississippi?
Yeah, Power Slam, yeah, in Hattiesburg.
Right. Well, Hattiesburg is all over Mississippi. I had the gear ordered, and I text Wes Adams, because me and him are pretty good friends. And I said, you're either going to hate the new gear that I made or you're going to love them. And I texted him a picture of it, and he said, I got an idea. Let me call you in a minute. And he just runs down this idea about basically almost not really ripping off Hulk Hogan, but using a lot of his mannerisms out there in the ring, just kind of have fun with it at some of the shows. Like in Mississippi, I changed my name from Curt Matthews to Stud Matthews. Come out to Eye of the Tiger, and just I'm using the big boot, dropping the leg, and having fun with it.
What you gonna do?
But yeah, that is where the Stardomania came from.
Speaking, other attires like Buku Dao's ring attire is awesome. He comes up with different stuff every.
I hate that guy. He's got new gear every week. He's trying to flaunt some money or something. He's trying to make up for something. That guy.
I am kind of curious on something I'd seen that after we promoted that you were coming on the show, I'd seen a little kind of commenting warfare between you and Paris Kelly.
Oh, Paris
Kelly. Who is
Kelly.
Going to be our guest tomorrow, actually.
That's gonna be boring. This is entertaining. Jeez.
Did you actually work a show
cool
with her, or you guys just good friends?
I've never worked a show with her. I'm familiar with her father, and I'm pretty sure she's come to a few of the shows that I was on probably my first year of wrestling. And we just kind of stayed in contact. We joke around on Facebook a lot. She's pretty cool. She'll be kind of entertaining. I mean, she's no Curt Matthews.
Oh, no.
She's not going to have her... What now?
So she's no Studomania.
No, she's not even a Studomaniac. I mean, she don't know what this is about.
Don't know how to keep it steadily.
I do got a question, considering we were talking about this before we placed a call to you. Do you have plans or look forward to possibly going to WrestleMania this next year?
WrestleMania? I've thought about it. I don't even know if tickets have gone on sale or not, but I'm gonna do my best to try to be there.
They like to do the WrestleCon with the Wildkat being there. From what Austin was telling me, Wildkat's going to be there.
Supposed to be there at WrestleCon, yeah.
I've heard there are a few things going around about the whole WrestleCon thing with Wildkat, but I'm not at liberty to really talk about any of it right now because nothing is really solid.
Of course. Fair enough.
We are trying to be involved with it though. We want to try to get Wildkat involved in all of that.
And speaking of Wildkat, there's actually a show coming up on Saturday, August 24th at where?
Hawks versus Hardy.
Oh yeah, Hawks versus Hardy.
The main event is going to be Luke Hawks versus Matt Hardy, which is going to be. I mean, this show is basically going to be the WrestleMania for the Gulf Coast, especially New Orleans, considering all the talent that's coming in. You've got Luke Hawks versus Matt Hardy. You've got Curt Matthews, which, hey, what can I say about that guy?
I know, huh?
Versus, I mean, he's in the match with Buku Dao, but I mean, Curt Matthews is going to be there. You've got Matt Lancey versus Carlos Sergeant Socorro in a Texas Bull Rope match. That's going to be that's going to be awesome. It's going to be brutal. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those guys doesn't walk away from that match. See what we got: Bolt Brady versus Bestia 666, that's going to be a high impact, high energy match. That's not one you want to miss. And just added, we have Trina Mania, or Trina Michaels. Are you guys familiar with her?
I think so. Yeah, I've seen a picture about her. I
bet you've seen a picture of her. Former adult entertainer. You about that life, Austin?
Yeah, all about that life. 24/7.
Oh.
No.
Felix, you about that life?
No.
I say that again.
Trina Mania, former adult entertainer. You about that life?
I've heard of her.
Not about that life.
Let's just say I've heard of her. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I'm familiar with her work on the independent scene. I'm not about the other life. Awesome, that's all you.
That's fine.
But,
yeah, I'm familiar with her on the independent scene too. Same here.
She's I know she's managed a bunch of big wrestling names on the independent scene, the Bravado Brothers. She's managed Luke Hawks in Florida a few times, I believe, and just been all over. I think her and Reby Sky kind of got a little feudish deal going on. I don't think they like each other too much.
Is she going to be here? Is she going to be there Saturday? I mean, August 24th?
I'm not positive. I wouldn't be surprised if she popped up, though.
That'd be interesting.
I haven't seen her absolutely advertised, but I wouldn't be surprised if she popped up.
So it's
and I got to
August
ask.
25th
That's okay. Just wanted to ask, would you mind taking a call or two from? Because I do actually have a caller on the line. You can look in the chat with you for a second.
Go right ahead.
Okay, here we go. Hello, you're on the air with Curt Matthews. Did you have a question for him?
Yeah, hello.
Hello. You're on the air with Curt Matthews.
All right. Yeah, I wanted to see what makes Wildkat the best wrestling promotion in the Gulf Coast.
What makes it the best wrestling promotion in the Gulf Coast?
That's a good question.
Just the talent that it brings in, the quality of the product. We try to put out the best absolute product that you can find in the entire Gulf Coast. We bring in talent from Texas. We bring in talent from Tennessee, all over the place. The shows at Wildkat, you're not going to see these guys anywhere else on the Gulf Coast. But we bring in top talent from all over the place. We just hands above all the rest of the Gulf Coast. The matches you see at Wildcats you're not going to see anywhere else.
Awesome. Hope that answered your question.
Yes, most definitely.
Thanks for your call.
Well, thank you.
That was cool. I think actually, as soon as we got that call on, it looked like two more just popped on here. Do you have time for one more?
Go for it.
Maybe
I'm here
two,
till
if
you
we can
come
squeeze it in. Alrighty. From this one, we haven't actually heard from him in a while. It's a good buddy of Austin and a fan of the show. This is Matt. Hold on, let's go ahead and bring him on.
All right.
Hello, Matt. You're on the air with Curt Matthews. Did you have a question for him?
Yes,
Matt?
I do, Felix. Hi, Curt. Nice to meet you. How many matches have you had with Hurricane Helms?
How many matches have I had with Hurricane Helms?
Yes, sir.
I've just had this one in the past. I've had one match with him this past year. It was a 6-man tag match. It was me, the Outlaw Matt Lancey, and Blake Wilder against Buku Dow, that guy. Sergeant Socorro and Shane Helms.
Wow, that's got to be amazing. Well, thank you for answering my question, Curt, and good luck in the future. I'm going to keep listening in, guys. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Not a problem.
Thanks for calling in, buddy.
Calling. All right.
No problem.
And I just want to say that Blake Wilder lost that match for me. I did not lose that match. I am undefeated.
Shoulders were not down on the mat.
You're undefeated, huh?
I'm undefeated against Shane Helms.
Looks like I may have. Sorry?
No, you didn't you?
No, not at all. I didn't mean to interrupt there. I did want to ask though. Shut up. If you could actually wrestle, we'll just say right now, if you could pick a dream opponent, whether it be past or present, to wrestle against, who would you want to face and why?
Who would I want to face and why?
Could be past or present.
Honestly, the first name that's coming to my mind right now is, and this kind of might answer who I might kind of be trying to not really imitate, but kind of look at for inspiration, Rick the Model Martel.
That's a good answer.
And
that's a good answer because he was awesome.
I want to have a match with him, and the stipulation is going to be no touching of the hair or face.
Kind of like he did with Sean in '92 for Wembley Stadium. Couldn't touch anything.
I enjoyed that match.
That was a good
enjoyed that match.
But on the flip side, with your character that you have right now, do you see the chance of ever having a manager? And if so, who would you have liked to have had as your manager that would fit the role of your character? Or would you see that maybe he doesn't need need a manager to talk for him?
It doesn't. I don't believe that I necessarily need a manager. But if I had one, let's see, who would I want? I honestly can't think of one that I would want off the top of my head right now. Oh, Sable. Not Sable. What's her name? What's her name?
Sunny?
No, not Sunny. Gosh, what is her name? She just broke up with George Clooney.
Stacey Keibler.
Yes.
You like legs, huh? That's cool.
Yes. I would have Stacey Keibler just because she's hot.
And she would never have to wrestle. Was a great ballet back in her day.
To follow up that question, I want to ask this: are you a Paul Heyman guy?
What's that?
Oh, no, you did. No, you didn't.
Are you a Paul Heyman guy?
I didn't understand that.
Are you a Paul Heyman guy?
Paul Heyman guy? I'm a pro wrestling guy.
Oh,
okay.
Awesome.
But Paul Heyman is awesome. I love his work. I will say that.
That's good enough for me. At this point, yes, he's a great manager, but some performers, some wrestlers do not really need a manager or a mouthpiece, or for that matter, a valet. You could probably use one, but if your character doesn't suit it or fit it, I say don't do it. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm sorry. I
was just going to talk about Paul Heyman for a second.
Go for it.
I was going to say that anyone that has him as a manager immediately gets more eyes looked upon him. So that's another one that could be an awesome manager. I mean, he has the ability to make anyone a star, I believe.
Agreed.
And going back to the Wildkat, August 24th. Where can you get tickets? Like where all the information, where it's going to be at and stuff.
If you want prepaid tickets, contact wildcatsports@gmail.com or ask on the Facebook page, Wildkat Sports and Entertainment. Message some of the guys, but the easiest way you're going to get them is probably through contacting the email address if you want prepaid.
And we do have one more call for you, Curt, if you're up for it.
Let's do it.
All right. Got another caller here. You're on the air with Curt Matthews. What's your question for him?
Hey, Curt, it's Newt. Got a question for you real quick. How long have you been feuding with Buku Dow now? It's been, about a year?
Let's see. Our first match together was on August 3rd, 2012.
Okay, so been a year then. Wow. And every match I've seen of you improve every match, man.
It's been just a little bit over a year. see, I got the win in that first match, and it's kind of been back and forth ever since then.
Yep,
But
I saw him cheat the last time to beat you, so.
I think he cheats every time.
Well, he definitely cheated
looking.
last time. It was 2-on-1. That wasn't fair, you know.
Oh man, that was so unfair. That was.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, obviously, I still weighed more than them. I could, if I came in prepared for a 2-on-1 fight, I would have walked out the winner. I would have won that fight. I wasn't prepared for that though. I trained for one person.
Day.
What's that?
So you were sick that day. It's the same excuse that JBL uses when he lost to Rey Mysterio. He's like, oh, I was sick that day. He was sick.
I wasn't sick. I didn't prepare for a 2-on-1. It was rigged. There's a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy against Curt Matthews at Wildkat. I'm telling you.
Yep.
It was. Did you have another question for Curt?
That's about it.
I appreciate you calling in there. Hang tight now if you want to listen to the rest of the show.
Cool.
Thank you.
Later, dude.
That's cool. Now, I do want to ask if you have a moment to go ahead and plug in your social media plugs. If you have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Vine, I don't know what else is out there, but if you have ways that fans can keep in contact with you, what would be the best way they can do that?
I'm on Facebook. I check my Facebook pretty constantly. Just Curt Matthews, parentheses Stud Matthews. That might make it come up a little bit easier. I have a fan page, but I prefer people just add me on Facebook just because that allows me to stay in contact easier than the fan page. I have a Twitter, Studley1.
At Studley1?
At Studley1. And I have an Instagram too, but I don't really know if you can stay in contact with me on Instagram. That's mostly where That's mostly where I just post funny pictures.
You have a Google Plus account?
What's that?
You have a Google Plus account?
No, I don't. I do not have a Google Plus.
Exactly. You hear that, Felix? No one goes in Google Plus.
No one goes in Google Plus.
Believe it or not, they do. We do. We have had past guests that do say that they have it. So it's not something that's completely echoed down. So
Facebook is where it's at.
Thank you.
Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook is the place to go.
I guess.
Like, I don't want to tweet. I don't want to Google Plus people. I want to update my status on Facebook. Talk about how good I look.
And did you happen to tune in to the Hero? Were you a fan of the show? Did you care for it? Did you ever really watch it?
I never got the opportunity to watch it. I heard good things about it, but I never got to tune in. I'm sure it was good.
Okay. Yeah, actually, you can definitely hear from if you follow Austin on
guessing
Facebook.
That it was good.
If you follow Austin on Facebook, you'll probably hear all about it because one thing for sure is he definitely has a love for wrestling and anything that involves it. This may not have involved it, but he definitely took a liking to the show.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure. Wasn't there a wrestler on the show too?
It was The Rock, yeah, and the guy Sean Ricker.
Sean Ricker, yeah. How'd he do?
He didn't actually win, but he did get something that was actually even better for him. He actually got a contract with WWE.
Forget the rest of the show. You won there.
There you go. So for him, it was like he won the show since he got that. So.
Speaking of
in my eyes, he's the winner.
He thinks he is too. You should have seen him on the finale.
It was pretty funny. He's a character, that's for sure.
But now speaking of contracts and WWE, TNA, all those places, what's in store for Curt Matthews in the future?
Which one do I want to go to in the future?
Anyone with.
Or if all three, if you wanted to. I mean, obviously your main concern would be getting into WWE, but if TNA or Ring of Honor or New Japan showed interest, I'm sure you wouldn't mind going and working there for a little bit, would you?
I wouldn't mind. But like I said, the ultimate goal is to get into WWE. I'd rather go there than any of the others. Nothing against them. That's my dream job, is to be in the WWE.
Understood. And getting a chance to train at their performance center in Florida. I don't know if you've got any photos of it or not. That's badass.
Yeah, I got to look at some of the pictures of it. It looks awesome.
No doubt.
That's definitely something that I look forward to doing one day.
Well, in this case, I want to say...
Hopefully in the new period.
What's that?
I said hopefully in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep plugging away, man. Don't give up on your dream, and hopefully within the next time we talk to you, you'll have a contract with WWE. Never say never. That's what they say, man.
Oh, no, never say never.
But I want to say that on behalf of Austin and myself, unless Austin do you have any more questions for Curt?
Well, one last thing. Wildkat, August 24th. You can get the tickets at Wildkat. Wildkat Sports at yahoo.com. That's what it is.
I think it's Wildkat Sports. Wildkat, no S. Wait, no, Wildkat Sports at gmail.com, I believe.
Gmail, okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'm ashamed. But I believe that is what it was.
And yeah, the main event's going to be Matt Hardy versus Luke Hawx. Main event's going to be awesome. And also Curt Matthews versus Buku Down.
I was going to say, don't forget the guy who's actually going to be on there too.
Curt Matthews is going to be there. That's worth the ticket price right there.
Definitely. Get tickets at wildcatsports@gmail.com once again.
Right. Awesome. I may need to double check on that, but I believe that's what it is.
Awesome deal. And definitely check out Facebook and look up Curt Matthews if you want to keep up with his career in wrestling and what he's doing and where he's headed to next. But definitely tune in to if you're in the area, go check out their show, the Wildkat show, where we get to see the main event. But hey, you get your money's worth. You get to see the man himself, Mr. Curt Matthews, in action as well.
I may even acknowledge your existence.
There you go. On behalf of Austin and myself, we definitely thank you for taking time to join us tonight. And hopefully we'll look forward to having you on again in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Definitely, we did as well. You have yourself a good night, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all too. Later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.